Hi there, come join me for a fun idea on building a stylish memory keeping layout featuring a few of the new products from the April 2025 release. So see you in a bit. Hi there, and welcome to a new episode of Inspired by a Card with Natalie. Today we're working with this card as inspiration, and this is from Martin Stone from the latest blog hub, and I love a few of the things here, actually pretty much all of it, to create an interactive page for my album. So I'm starting with color cardstock for mine. I'm using Misty Morning. I am going to use an embossing folder, but I'm going to use actually a press plate for this. I'm going to use the Build Your Garden Through the Tulips as my main focus, and I'm going to help myself also with the Mini Delights Fabulous Flowers. Just a combination of the latest release. So one of the things that it's going to be different between the card that Martin created and what I'm going to create is that I want to avoid adding dimension to the florals. He used the beautiful detail layering die. I want something that's flat because my layering is going to happen in a different way. So for that, I am using the build a garden through the tulips. I'm actually going to stamp the images of the tulips 4 times. I'm just going to show you 2 of them, and using black obsidian ink, I'm using my stamp wheel to help me with the stamping and also with the coloring. Now the pictures that I'm using for this spread have a tones of purples and lilacs. So I've colored the 2 flowers, the first 2 flowers. You don't see them, I have them already created using the Plum Fairy Fresh Dye Inks. And for this one here, I'm going to combine actually a little bit of the Plum Fairies with a little bit of the dry petals. So I started with crystal pink, and then I added a little bit of mauve, and then I'm going to jump into amethyst to bring some of that purple lilac tone. Once I have like the flowers detail, I'm going to go into the centers of the flowers and the leaves. For that, I am using the Jade Dreams inks. I'm going to use pistachio to color the center of the flower, and then I'm going to use Misty Sage, I think it is, to color the leaves and the stems, and then I'm going to skip the next tone and go straight into green opal to add the details of the leaves. And I'm actually going to be very careful to add quite a bit of details. I'm adding some pressure just to create a little bit of extra dimension just with the stenciling, because like I mentioned before, even though I would love to add the detailing, of the layering of the flowers, my layering is going to happen in a different way. So I need something that is not going to add to the bulk. So that's what I'm trying to actually add more details to the stencil and the pressure that I'm using to color some of the areas that are in the leaves and in the flowers. So once I have that ready, I'm going to use actually the die that comes, you can get it as an add-on for this set, and then to just cut my florals. Once I have that, and in case you see what I had there, I picked you, or I show you the container that I already have in that hand, the container for my mini ink blending brushes. It's beautiful. It's coming up in June, so keep your eyes open. So going back onto my card, my project, one of the things that I love about Martin is that he used a tone on tone for his background. So I'm doing the same. I am using Misty Morning for my background, and I'm going to add some interest into that panel that he ripped. I am choosing to emboss it using the press plate. This is the Floral Serenade press plate, and I just use the sandwich for my die cutting machine that is going to help me emboss. Once I have that, I am going to trim that embossed area to around a 3 1/8 by a 4 1/8, and that is going to create kind of that panel that he has ripped on his card. I am going to use that to create an interactive piece for my layer. And the reason that I'm doing interactive is because I have 4 pictures. They're totally different in tones, but the ones that actually are in portrait mode were taken at a stage that had a lot of red, so the tones are really different from what I have on the other side. So my choice was to confine them to a place where they're not going to just be out of whack with the other photos. So to create my little interactive piece, I am actually going to help myself with some vellum. I have trimmed a letter size vellum piece to a 4 by an 8.5 inch paper or strip, And then I'm gonna use my my board. This is my scoring board to create lines at 3, at 6, and at 9. Once I have those lines in the long side of the paper strip, again is at 3, at 6, and at 9, I'm going to use my bone folder and actually create the folds as I am creating an accordion. So one, like, you know, so when you're gonna see, I'm just folding right now. Once you open, it's actually gonna look as an accordion, and I'm gonna have like 3 by 4 pieces, and then a 2 by 4 piece flap, and that's okay because I need that to attach it to my background. So you pretty much get the idea. Right now I'm gonna attach my pictures at the right, at the first on the right, the third panel, and then that 2 inches is going to be what attaches to my background. So first thing I need to do is I have to make sure that the picture that I attach to the right of the strip is going to be glued to the back of the cardstock that I embossed, because that's going to be what it allows me to open it. Now I need to glue the entire piece onto my background, but I don't want to just glue the vellum straight onto my background. It's going to show. Instead, I'm creating 2 panels using the press plate, the Floral Serenade press plate. This is just plain cardstock, so I'm going to actually kind of stamp them. So what I did is I cut 2 panels. One is 3 by 4 and one is 2 7/8 by 3 7/8, or sorry, 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And my reasoning is the 3 by 4 is going to help me to create that nice crisp background that attaches to the background. That's going to attach the element to the background. And the other one is going to help me just to complete the look. It's going to be the same size as the picture, so it's going to go in that center panel. You're going to see right now I'm just gluing that in place. I'm helping myself with some of the ultra sticky tape for this. You're gonna see that right now I'm attaching that 3 by 4 a piece, and that's just gonna create a clean look when I attach the entire piece onto my background. Simple as that, nothing complicated. Now the only thing is, when I started doing this, I knew that I had to add a way to keep this, like, you know, be able to open it and close it without just having it like open permanently. So the best way to do that was to add a little bit of twine. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using the ultra sticky tape on the back of the 3 by 4 card, and I'm just going ahead and just adding the tape at the bottom part of the card. That way when I glue it onto my background, then I have a way to secure kind of the element together. So you're gonna see I have it in place. I'm gonna use my ruler. I want to make sure that it's nice and straight. Once I have it in place, I'm just gonna go ahead and attach it onto my background. Once it's ready, then you see I have an easy way to open it and an easy way to close everything. Also, now I need to bring interest to the inside. One of the things that I'm going to do is I am going to add one of the florals. I'm using the one that I use with the plum fairies, one of the the tulips that I created with the plum fairies. I am going to trim some of the leaves that are on the left hand side of it, so it creates this clean line that it's going to be in the inside flap of my project, and then the other one's going to be on the outside, kind of giving you the idea the same as Martin has on his card. He has a circle. I am using one of the negative pieces from the Mini Delight Fabulous Florals. I created a project a couple of weeks ago. I have some leftovers, so I'm going to use that arch at the front to give me the idea or to help me create my title. You're going to see for the center, like I'm going back, I'm just working between like to the front to the back, making sure that it's all cohesive. I'm going to use one of the sentiments from the Build a Garden Through the Tulips. I'm just going to stamp it onto white cardstock using Obsidian Ink. It says "You're blooming beautiful," and I'm actually going to die cut it. I'm going to die cut it twice. I'm actually going to layer it one on top of the other one, and then I had a heart from my stash that's going to be in the center panel. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to make sure that I have a little bit of interest there too. So you're gonna see that I have like my florals. I'm gonna add some stickers to the inside. This is just for my stash. I don't want anything else there. I added my flower, the same thing, the idea as what Martin has. So I have my white, think of it as a kind of frame, and then I have my floral. And then what I'm going to do now is add a title. For that, I went into the One Go Solid Strips Sentiments number 2. This is the one that was just released, and I found this one that says enjoy your day. I have quite a few already created, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue it to the top. You're gonna see when I'm gluing it to the top of the flower. I don't want to add anything at the bottom because I have that piece that is gonna open and close my insert, so I don't want to make sure that, like, you know, I don't destroy it. So the other thing that I'm going to do, or that I did actually, is add my lines of journal. This page protector that I have right here, or pocket page, actually had a space in the center, so I added my lines of journal onto the Misty morning cardstock. I printed it on my computer, and then I'm just gonna add one of the florals just to marry the two sides and the insert together. Once I have that, I'm gonna set it in place. I'm gonna add some stickers from my stash, just because I had something that had continued that purple, that lilac tone going on. And then I'm going to add enamel dots. I'm helping myself with some enamel dots from the Fairy Dust Fairy Dust Plums, I think it is, enamel dots. I am also going to use a little bit of enamel dots from the Warm Purples, I think it is, and then I'm gonna use some of the gems just to bring that sparkle onto the title set, and that is from the Rhodonite stamp set. Gem sparkles, not stamp set, from the Rhodonite gem sparkles. You're gonna see that I'm just adding a few simple sentiments to the inside pictures, and then, like I said, adding the twine is an easy way to create that closure and make sure that that element doesn't stay open or just flapping my album. And that's about it. I love how this turned out. It was fun. I have a lot of people that ask me, how do I create the back of my pages? This is pretty much what I do when I have a layout that is already, you know, ready to go, and to create a continuation or something that came before, I just use the back of it to just give me that idea. And this, like I said before, I had so many different colors in one of the same story in one single day that it was a better idea just to confine them in an area. But that doesn't mean that you just, you know, hide them. It's just kind of like confine them with style. So that's creating that the insert in this case helped me with that. And I hope you actually gives you an idea for a project, or any, you know, a card or any crafty project that you have in mind. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. You can check more details and all the supplies that I use in the blog and also in the description of this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, you can contact me at any time. And I hope to see you soon. And be sure to check for a lot more beautiful projects showing up in this channel. See you soon, guys. Take care.
Hey there, Lydia here. I really do hope that you've just enjoyed the video. If so, please subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you can get your daily dose of crafty techniques and tutorials just like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.